Hey everybody, it's Greg, host of the Art of Relationship Show, fully licensed professional counselor, Detroit's Love Guru, relationship and sex specialist, with another episode of the Art of Relationship Show. Going to be talking about justification. How many people have heard justification for others' actions? Maybe you are the one that uses justifications all the time, right? You made me do this. We're going to talk about this, and you know what? And other things. Stay tuned right after this with the Art of Relationship Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey everybody, how many people have heard, so many excuses and justifications for behaviors that have been disrespectful, have been hurtful, or maybe you thought were sort of rude to you. Maybe you are one of these that uses justifications. So I want to get rid of justifications. And, what is at the root of people justifying their behaviors, right? We all know there are reasons for a lot of stuff. But what is the difference between a reason and a justification, right? Ooh, that's sort of subjective, and that can go by the wayside as far as, what your intakes are, what your, perspective is, right? And as always, real quick, I want to welcome the show to Detroit City TV. Yeah, woohoo! The Art of Relationship Show is on Detroit City TV. You can check them out. Find them all over on Facebook and online as well, okay? So I'm very, very excited about that. And, okay, let's get back to justifications, okay? A lot of people look at, there are reasons, the brakes failed, that way I blew the stop sign, right? Or the ice was on the road and that's why I got in an accident. There's so many maybe reasons, but were we driving too fast? Were we, that could be it. Were we driving too fast? Were we not paying attention instead of using justifications? And a lot of times with relationships of all kind, romantic relationships, family relationships, workplace relationships, there's so many justifications. And a lot of big corporations, right? You never hear them apologize for anything, right? Is that the Americanized, situation? Oh, what flew off at me? Is that the Americanized standard that, we never own what we do. We never take blame for our own actions. We always blow it off, ignore it, redirect, those type of situations, right? And I'm not about that. I'm all about owning what we do and not justifying our actions. You made me do this. I wouldn't have done this if you didn't do that. How many times have we heard this situation, and how many people maybe have we used it? I'm guilty of it. I think we all are guilty of it from one time or another in our life. Oh, don't forget, people, join in the chat below, okay? Big, big, big time, okay? So if we look at these situations, you know what? I'm all about trying to understand why people do stuff. That's, the heart of psychology, if you will. In the counseling aspect, it doesn't justify situations. You know what? I grew up, I get, people, all walks of life, right? They grew up with horrific childhood experiences, severe, sexual trauma, rape, physical abuse, emotional abuse. People have been through nightmarish stuff, right? However, we can understand why maybe somebody acts a certain way, right? But that doesn't justify for our actions. Because, we grew up a certain way, that doesn't justify me or anybody else to treat someone poorly, to treat someone like crap, and to be rude and be, evil to somebody, right? We might be able to understand it. We can't trust anybody because of what we went through. That's why maybe I'm selfish. I look at only myself, or, always about self-protection. We can understand why. But there's a difference between justifying it. And what do we do to, work on our actions if we, betray the person or people we love in our life, that we disrespect them, that we're rude to them? We've been there, I'm tired, whatever. That's why I yelled at you. Huh? What? Okay. That might be why you yelled at me, but are you justifying it and sort of excusing why you yelled at me and were rude to me because you were tired? We can understand that, but where is the heartfelt apology? Where is the sincere, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled at you. Yes, I am tired, and cranky. I'm not feeling well. We've all been there. That doesn't justify me yelling and screaming. We have to go after how we affect that other person first, not a justification. I want to know how things affected you and what are you doing to go after in your own relationship. Working with couples on a daily basis, let's be real, okay? People are justifying their reasons for whatever did this. And I'll even ask, say somebody cheated, okay? Cheated, broke trust, betrayal. I'm going to look at what caused it. That doesn't justify or condone it. Let me be very clear. There's a huge difference with that. Like I said, we can feel a certain way when, I get maybe someone cheated because they didn't feel loved, they didn't feel desired, they didn't feel appreciated. Maybe they didn't feel connected for a long time in a relationship. We can understand it. That doesn't justify that person's actions to cheat or to betray or be rude. Do you understand that? There's a huge difference. We first have to go after the effect we had on that person, okay? It could be a friend that we were rude to, a coworker, definitely our loved one, right? Even our kids, right? How many people were raised that, you know what? Adults never apologize to kids. I'm like, what? What the hell is that, right? I'm all about people can apologize sincerely to kids, to anybody, right? For our wrongdoings and not justify it, not, I'm an adult, I don't have to apologize for you. I've heard that many times when I used to work with kids, and I'm like, what? What does that teach your kid, right? Does that teach your kid respect? Does that teach your kid that you can make mistakes as well? Absolutely, right? So I'm all about we can apologize to kids, to younger ones, older people, all walks of life, right? For our wrongdoings, even though it's not intentional. I get a lot of people, why should I apologize if it's not intentional? Well, you know what? Even though it's not intentional, you can still honor the effect it had on that person, okay? Hey, Lisa, we are big on apologizing to our kids and explain what was unhealthy about our actions. I love it. Awesome. That's what I go after. There's no justifications in, looking at excuses why we do things. Like I said, we go after the effects it has on that person big time, okay? It's not a right or wrong, but go after the feelings first. I'm huge on this. I talk about this with clients over and over again. Go after the effect it had on that person. It doesn't justify it. Well, you know what? I wouldn't hit you if you didn't make me mad. I've had couples over the years where literally one is excusing the other one's behavior. Greg, I'm sorry. I did have dinner late on the table. 5-6 minutes later, I understand why he was so mad and why he hit me. And I'm like, excuse me. Where other people try to justify and excuse their lovers, their partners' behaviors for other people to, I'm all about having each other's backs. But when they start taking offense towards you, they start betraying you, they start hurting you and, physically, emotionally, that type of aspect. They need to be able to own that. And if they don't, there's going to be, severe problems in any type of relationship. How many people have been in a friendship, years ago they're no longer friends because of this very thing, that your friend, or maybe you're one of those individuals that try to justify their actions all the time. And I'm like, why are you with them all the time? No justification. Own what you do. And then we can look at, what caused it and what's going on. Maybe some people have biological predisposition, or they were taught, very explosive anger aspects. Well, I was raised this way and I've always been this like since a kid. So this is how I am. Huh? So that tells me that gives you reason and justification to treat people poorly, right? To be an asshole. Let's be real. No, not at all. We can understand, horrifying, horrific treatments of, childhood, what people have gone through. Maybe a lot of people have been cheated on. Therefore, right? Oh, I've been cheated on, so I have the justification. I have, I'm okay with cheating on my next partner. What? No, not at all. Because what happened to you in the past does not justify you, does not give you carte blanche, if you will, to be able to treat others poorly. Let's be real, okay? We can understand we were treated poorly. We got treated like crap. We maybe got cheated on, beat, verbally abused. We can understand that, right? That does not give anybody, you get me? Does not give anybody the right to treat us poorly or us to treat others poorly. Again, understanding is crucial. Justifying is a totally different aspect. We need to first own what we do, what we talk about those situations, and to be able to go after, what the heck is happening, what is going on, to, be able, why do we treat you a certain way, okay? How many people also look at that, are they going after a reason with their partner treating them like crap, okay? Why? What's going on? Maybe what am I doing to cause you to yell at me, to scream at me, to want to get away from me? I'm all about owning what we do, right? To try to understand our role in how others react to us, right? I'm all about that. I promote that big time on a daily basis, okay? To be able to go after and look at, how, what is my reaction? Are you yelling at me because I disrespected you? I'm mad. You get me? Whatever. That still doesn't justify you yelling and screaming at me. Can you come to me and talk to me and say, hey, you know what? Why are you being rude to me? Don't talk to me that way. Oh, you know what? My bad. Well, I'm mad because I woke up late. I'm mad because I don't feel good. I'm mad and treat you this way because, again, those justifications and going on. And Lester, someone mentioned I would love to teach this to people suffering from PTSD. And this is a huge thing, Lester, and I appreciate you tuning in, that I walk, and I have a lot of trauma experience with kids, combat vets, first responders and stuff as well. I handpick now, even though, most of what I work with is couples, relationships, marriage, sexual challenges. I have a lot of experience with trauma. And this situation is, a lot of, because, they have PTSD. And I've been around people that have been friends. I have friends that have been in combat before, first responders that have PTSD, legitimate, okay? And, I have PTSD, that's why I did that, but that still doesn't justify you being able to treat someone poorly. Those triggers are not everybody else's responsibility and, to deal with and to go after and to try to justify, I'm triggered with this. And I know it's very scary. That's why I'm not a big fan of the fireworks, we just have here in America, because of the combat vets, that it's very traumatizing, the noises that go off, and it's like bombs, like IEDs, all those aspects that go off, and they're triggers, right? So I get it. It's very, very difficult. But because of our PTSD, or it could be people with bipolar disorder, other mental challenges, or other, past experiences that have traumatized us, or we've been through, like I mentioned before, that, we got cheated on. We've been in an abusive relationship. So our instant response, right, is to treat someone poorly like they're abusing us. And they're like, well, I didn't do anything to you. Well, I yelled at you because my ex, and you're like, what? You get me? You know what? Oh, I yelled at you, or it just triggered me because my ex, because I was in combat, because, I was, had a poor, horrific childhood. And the other person might be very, empathetic, sympathetic, compassionate towards you. That still does not justify you reacting in that manner, right? So, okay, I let you treat me like shit because you were abused as a kid, because you were in combat. That's okay. You can treat me like crap. I'm like, what? That's where that justification comes from. And to be able to understand this, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do this. Then we can go after the understanding, the apology, and the acknowledgement of the effect we have on that other person, be it, like I said, a betraying, cheating, disrespecting that person, being rude, being verbally, physically abusive to somebody. We need to go after the effect it has on that other person first. You get me? Then we can go after, and only then can we go after an understanding and get a clarity and justification. What made you treat me this way? There is not a situation where we can justify, you get me, or excuse our behaviors, which a lot of people go after, right? I get people that, one person cheated on each other, men, women, doesn't matter, okay? And go after, and some people really, what? They're very heartfelt, very sincere. I'm so sorry I devastated you and broke your trust and, devastated you and crushed you. I'm so sorry. And the other person, I might get a man or a woman. Well, you know what? If you would have done this, I wouldn't have cheated. And I'm like, what? What? Okay. You're jumping to maybe an understanding first, but you have to go after the impact it had on that person, or that person is going to feel like, or maybe you're trying to justify it and water down the impact you had on that other person. Again, trying to justify it. You know what? I cheated on you, but you made me. Huh? What? Did you force my penis in? What? Did I forced your vagina? You get me? How that sounds and how that looks like. And again, it's not, we have to go after the impact it has on anybody first, and then we can learn and go after the understanding. I'm not trying to justify it, right? That's what we want to go after. I'm not trying to justify my actions, not at all. What was going on with you? What made you cheat? What made you, so angry and explosive? And some people have situations where they need further help. Let's be real. Need professional help where there's maybe intermittent explosive disorder where they can't control their anger, where they go from 0 to 10, their anger, like this. You get me? Where there's no buildup. There's no, what do I want to say? Here we go again with the brain fart, right? People build up the resentment. There we go. The resentment and everything, and the tolerance just ends. So, you build up, and you explode. There's some people that there's no tolerance at all. They just go from 0 to 100, like right now. They explode. And that's what's even more difficult. But we need to get help and try to reach out for the help. And part of, an understanding, and part of the genuine remorse and guilt is to be able to go after and get the help we need. That really tells that person that we hurt, verbally, physically, which there's no justification, no reason, no understanding at all for that, but we can go after and get that help. And that really tells that person that we hurt, betrayed, broke trust, whatever, that we are working on it and we're sincerely, apologetic and sincerely and genuinely, authentically, sorry for the pain we caused them when we go after and get that help on our own or even as a couple, depending on the situation. Hey, Amanda, I appreciate you tuning in. And for those people that, if you have been, beyond repair, relationship, whatever, been beyond repair, make sure, reach out. There's some good people at DFWNPLC.com. Check them out. A huge supporter of the show. Great people. So if you're, unfortunately, if you are going through a divorce or a situation, and you need help, legal help, please reach out to them. DFWNPLC, or I should say PLC.com. They're great people, actually genuine, and they actually care about people. Or I wouldn't be mentioning them on the show, okay? Going back to the justification, we all hear this all over the place, right? Politicians in this country. Don't even get me going, right? Well, we did this because it was in the best interest of the people. Or was it in the best interest of yourself? Is that why you did that? And can you own that? And a lot of people, you look at a situation, okay? How come you don't want to have sex with me anymore? I get this often. Men, women, everybody assumes it's men that are complaining not getting enough sex. Oh, no, 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 no. There's a lot of women, more women, I think, than men over the years in my experience have been complaining about not getting sex, right? And, we can go after reason, right? I'm tired, I'm exhausted, maybe testosterone levels, hormone levels. There's 3 estrogen levels that, women have, trauma, all these aspects, a disconnect, right? Again, are we going after the understanding, or do we go after, man, I get how that affects you. I get, man, it must make you feel horrible if I don't want to have sex with you, right? I don't want to be intimate with you. I get that. I get how that goes after. Again, we go after the impact it must have on that other person versus, you know what? Now we can go after the understanding. And what if the understanding, there's no justification, I'm just not turned on by you? Ouch, right? Now, is that being honest? Is that being rude? Or is that being open and honest? Now, can you go from a place where, man, what can I do? What can we do? So you are turned on by me. And sometimes there's nothing that can be done. And there's people out there that said, oh, there's always something that could be done. You could do everything and it still might not work. And I'll never promote somebody living a lie. Again, going through the motions we do in life from time to time. Nothing is perfect, but when it's done and over, I'm not about people, justifying being in a miserable, unhealthy relationship. And this goes with friendship, even family relationships, that type of situation. And are you able to, look for reason and understanding when it comes down to, why are you not having sex with me? Am I not turned on? Do I have BO, bad breath, whatever it is? And are you able to, look after it, and go after the understanding, but you first have to go after the impact. I get it's devastating. I get it hurts that, maybe I don't want to have sex with you. Now we have to look at, is it depression, anxiety, other stuff going on? Loss of a loved one just happened and we're in a funk, we're in a depressive funk. There's so many situations, but again, we're going after, not a justification. We're going after, how that impacts that other person. And then we can go after the understanding and look at, the root cause of any type of situation, right? And this goes after yelling, screaming, a disconnect where there's, sexual unsatisfaction, right? Or sexual dissatisfaction might be a better term. Are we going after the understanding and the impact of how it affects that other person? Or, again, what am I doing to cause that person not to want to make love with me, have sex with me? What am I doing? Am I, paying enough attention to that person? Or the only time I'm paying attention is when I want sex. Other than that, it's like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to text you. I don't want to give you compliments. I don't want to give you affirmations. I only want to talk to you when I'm horny. You get me? That's not going to make your partner feel good, and they're not going to want to have sex with you. Let's face it, men or women. And yes, sex is emotional for men too. So a lot of people will try to look at justifying their actions, right? It's all over the place, right? It's the human condition, if you will. I want to stop the justification, and I want people to own what they do. That goes for me too. I want people to own the impact it has on their people, their loved one, their family, their kids, those type of situations. You know what? I was upset. I was mad. That does not give me the right to yell and scream. That does not give me the right to hit you, like I said at the beginning or middle of the show, because let's face it, you were supposed to have dinner on the table, and supposed to is a big word, right? That you were getting dinner on the table and you were 5 minutes late, so that gave me a reason to yell and scream at you or hit you like prior clients did before. Oh, hell no. There is no reason in justifying certain actions. We have to take responsibility for our own actions. You know what? No ifs, ands, or buts. We take responsibility for our actions, and then we go after understanding and what was going on that created or that caused. Oh, my booty fell asleep for a little bit. Sorry, people. To go after and, own what we do, Then we go after understanding. Same thing with our loved one. You know what? It doesn't only work for us, right? We don't want hypocrisy. We need to understand that also we can go after an understanding of our loved one and what was going on with them. You know, was it insecurities? Was it fear? Was it anger? Right? And usually anger covers up about the hurt, right? I tell people that all the time. We can go after the understanding if it was based on past traumas, hurt, resentment, all those things, right? But that doesn't justify our behaviors. It doesn't justify our partner's behaviors for doing what they did. You made me so mad, so that's why I hit you. Excuse me? No, we need to control our actions. We need to control the words that come out of our mouth that might be disrespectful, right? We have to stop justifying and excusing our behavior and our actions and to go after it. Now, you know, if we don't love anybody anymore, can we be open and honest about it and not blame that other person? But again, oh, you know what? I've been trying, I've been working on this. No matter what, I don't feel this anymore. No justifying, no excusing, right? Well, if you did this, I'd love you. If you did this, you get me? No, we have to own what we feel and what we do and how we respond to it. Plain and simple, no ifs, ands, or buts. And then we go after an understanding, okay? Amanda, it would be nice to see people take responsibility instead of hiding behind the blame game. And this happens, Amanda, as you know, it happens in all walks of life. It happens in all creeds, cultures, races, age categories. You know what? We need to get away from the blame game, take responsibility for ourselves, and then go after understanding. Well said, Amanda. Thank you. As always, you can check out the Art of Relationship show every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, right here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And now it's on Detroit City TV. You can catch it live on noon, and it's going to be replayed at 8 or 8:30. I can't remember, Wednesday evening. So check it out. I'm very happy. Again, check out dfwnplc.com if you need some great, honest, sincere, caring legal advice, and also a little fun for trinkets and shirts and all this stuff. IHatePeople.com. Check them out. It's hilarious. It's funny. No, I love people. Just saying, okay? I appreciate everybody out there. Take care. Peace and love to everybody out there. Bye-bye.